Hello my dear students, welcome back to the lecture of discrete mathematical course. In the last lecture we have discussed about graph theory and we started the last unit, fifth unit, graph theory in our course, and in that lecture we have discussed about the fundamentals of the graph theory, that is what do you mean by a graph and what is the basic terminology we use in graph theory, and we have defined some important definitions like what is a loop edge, next parallel edges, and then what do you mean by adjacent vertex, adjacent edges, and what is the degree of a vertex if it is a directed graph, if it is an undirected graph how do we calculate a degree of vertex. All these things which we discussed in the last class, in the last lecture. In this particular lecture, continuation to that particular lecture, we are going to discuss about the another important content of graph theory is the types of the graphs. We are going to discuss about types of the graphs, next paths and circuits, and then we will go for some applications of graphs. So coming to this particular lecture, I am going to deliver what are the different types of the graphs. So in the next lecture we are going to discuss about what do you mean by a path, what do you mean by the circuit, what is Hamiltonian path and Eulerian path, all these things which we are going to discuss in the next lecture. And in this lecture we will try to discuss about what do you mean by or what are different types of the graphs in graph theory. Let us try to discuss one by one. Now coming to the first one, in the last lecture also we discussed about some important graphs. Before I am going to discuss about the null graph, let me give you two important graphs which we discussed in the last lecture. What are they? The first graph is undirected graph. The first one is undirected graph, which I am not going to cover in the types of the graphs because already we discussed about this particular undirected graph. We discussed about undirected graph means it is a graph which consists of the edges and vertices like this, which doesn't have any directions. This is simply what we can call it as a undirected graph. And we discussed about what do you mean by a directed graph. So in the directed graph what happened? You will have a directions like this, you will have directions, this is the one direction and this is the another direction and this may be the another direction and this may be another direction. So in this graph there are directions and in this graph there are no directions, therefore it is called undirected graph and therefore it is called directed graph, and these are the graphs which we already discussed in the previous lecture. Now other than these two graphs, what are the different graphs which are involving in graph theory? Let us try to understand them. The first one is called the null graph. So what is null graph? Null graph is a graph which does not contain any edges. And remember that while we define the definition of the graph, we have defined that a graph is a non-empty set of vertices and set of what? Edges. So the edges may be empty but the vertices may not be empty. If the vertices will be empty, then no need to define a graph. So that's why if the edges are empty, then such a graph what we can call it as a null graph. This is the basic definition. A graph whose edges is empty, it is called a null graph, and this is an example of what? A null graph. If you observe this graph, this graph does not contain any edges. Remember that. So that's why it is called a null graph. And the second important graph is trivial graph. What do you mean by a trivial graph? So a graph having only one vertex, simple vertex, only single vertex, then it is called a trivial graph. That means it like this. If you observe that this graph is contained, if a graph does not contain any vertex, suppose it does not contain any vertices, then it is not a graph. Remember that. The vertices may not be empty, but the edges may be empty. If the edges are empty, then we can call them as a null graph. If the graph consists of only one vertex, then it is called what? A trivial graph. This is the second definition of the graph. And coming to the third one, what do you mean by a simple graph? We discussed about undirected graph. We discussed about what? Directed graph. So the definition of the simple graph is, a simple graph is a graph when it does not contain any loops or parallel edges or multiple edges. A graph which does not contain means what? For example, so these are the properties of multiple graph. Let us try to understand what is multiple graph first, then we can come back to these two properties. So this is an example of a what? Simple graph. If you observe this simple graph, what will happen here? It does not contain, so in this there are no loops and there are no multiple edges. Loops are nothing but what? Any vertex which contain like this, then it is called a loop. And what are the multiple edges? If you have two vertices like this, if it is an undirected graph, both the endpoints of the edges will be the same. So for this two, this is the endpoint. Or if it is an undirected graph, the end vertex should be same for both the edges like this. Then these two are called multiple edges and these two are called multiple edges, and it is called a loop edge. If the graph, any graph which does not contain this one and this one, so like that graph generally we can call it as a simple graph. This is called a simple graph. It does not contain any multiple edges and what? Loops. So let us come back to the definition of the simple graph. Now here, that is the definition of the simple graph. Now what are the important properties of the simple graph? The first important property of the simple graph is nothing but here. So the maximum edges for n vertices. What are the possible number of maximum edges? So when a particular graph consists of n number of vertices, how many possible edges you will get? It is equal to, this is the formula which we can take. It is equal to nc2, which is equal to n into n minus 1 by 2. In the previously we have seen a graph which contained 3 vertices. It contained how many number of vertices? 3 vertices. So what are the number of edges? 3 into 3 minus 1 by 2 edges it consists of totally. So 3 into 2 into by 2, which is equal to how many you will get? It is equal to 3. So if a simple graph consists of n vertices, then the number of edges can be obtained by n into n minus 1 by 2. That is the first property. That is the first property of the simple graph. And the second one is the possible, suppose if the graph consists of n number of vertices, if a simple graph consists of n number of vertices, from which how many variations of simple graphs we can get, or the possible simple graphs with n vertices, how many we can get, which is equal to 2 into n minus 1 by 2. This is very, very important. So let us try to understand these two properties with an example. Already we have seen this. This is a simple graph. See here it consists of 3 vertices and 3 edges. If you substitute in the formula, you will get the same. If you take another example, for example, if you take like this, I'm going to take another example. This is the graph. Again, it is a simple graph which consists of 4 vertices. It does not contain any loops. It does not contain any loops. It does not contain any parallel edges. So therefore, what happened? It is a simple graph. So in this simple graph, so how many number of vertices are there? 4 vertices are there. So n into n minus 1 by 2. So these are the number of vertices. Now we need to find the number of edges. Edges is equal to, so 4 into 4 minus 1 by 2. How many you can get here? It is equal to 4 into 3 by 2. So which is equal to, how many you will get? It is equal to 6. So the possible number of edges, maximum possible number of edges are what? There should be 6 edges are there. So 4 into 3 by 2. So you will get it is equal to 2 into 3, which is equal to 6. Here we have only 4 edges, but there may exist how many? Maximum 6 possible edges will be existing for this particular graph. As we discussed already just now, another important property is, if the graph consists of n number of vertices, then the possible simple graphs from these n vertices, how many number of possible simple graphs we can get are 2 into n minus 1 by 2, which is equal to what? N into n minus 1, which is equal to what? You will get here n is equal to how many vertices are there? 3 vertices are there. For example, if you take this graph, it is equal to 3 n vertices. So you will get here it is equal to 3 into 2, it is equal to 6. So the possible simple graphs which we can get with 3 vertices are, so this is the one graph, this is a simple graph, also we can call it as a null graph because it does not contain any edges, so by which a null graph is a simple graph. The another simple graph is nothing but this is the simple graph, this is another simple graph like this. If you observe that all these graphs, what we are going to get, so you will get it is equal to totally 8 you will get. So by coming to the formula 2 into n minus 1 by 2, you will get what? Totally 2 into 3 minus 1 by 2. So you will get it is equal to 6, but we can take null graph also. This if you cannot include this null graph and this graph, other than these two graphs, it consists of how many graphs? Totally 6 graphs. That is what we have taken in the formula. Just now we got it, n into n minus 1 by 2, 2 into nc2, which is equal to n into, so which is equal to n into n minus 1, which is equal to, you will get 6 if n is equal to 3, because it consists of 3 vertices. Therefore, other than the null graph and the given graph, it consists of maximum 6 graphs. If you include these two, it consists of what? 8 graphs. So these are the possible simple graphs which we can get from the given simple graph. Now coming to the next one, connected graph. What do you mean by a connected graph? So we discussed about a null graph, we discussed about trivial graph, and we discussed about the simple graph. Now coming to the connected graph. Let us go through the definition. So when each of the pair of vertices have a path among them, the graph is said to be a connected graph. Means what? If you have vertices in a given graph, in those all the vertices should be connected. That means there should be a edge between each of the given pair of vertices. Then only we can call it as a connected. The meaning of connected is nothing but what? There should be some connection between the given nodes. Then only we can say that it is a connected. That is what the definition of a what? The connected graph. So let us come to the case of this. Here if you observe this particular graph, what will happen? If you go through all the vertices, so all the vertices are connected by with some edge, and these two are connected, and these two are connected, these two are connected. Anyway, these two are connected like this. Every two pair of vertices are connected by an edge, one edge. Therefore, it is called a connected graph. Suppose if there is no connection between these two, then what will happen? They are not called this graph is not called a connected graph. It is called a unconnected graph. So that is the definition of a connected graph. So regular graph. Regular graph is nothing but, the definition of the regular graph is, if you take in a given graph, it consists of the vertices as well as the edges. If every vertex has the same degree, then we can call it as what? A regular graph. Every vertex, whatever the graph you are going to take, for example, let us come to this, and then we can go for the second point. Now let us come to this particular graph. What will happen here? If you go through this particular graph, this is the vertex. How many vertices are there? 3 vertices are there here. As per the definition of the degree of a vertex, which we discussed in the last lecture, what do you mean by the degree of vertex? A vertex which is having adjacent vertices, then the number of possible adjacent vertices which is having that particular vertex is called what? Vertex of a degree. So degree of the vertex. So therefore, suppose if you take the vertex here, vertex what? A, B, C. These are the three vertices are there, and let us try to determine the degree of this particular vertex. How many adjacent vertices are there? These two are the adjacent vertices. What do you mean by the adjacent vertex? Adjacent vertex is nothing but there should be some path from that particular vertex to this vertex and that particular vertex to that vertex. Then only they are the adjacent vertices, which we already discussed all these terms in the last lecture. So now let us come to the case of degree. So how do we find the degree of vertex? So here for the vertex A it is 2. In the similar way for B it is also 2, and for C it is also 2. Now observe that every vertex contains the same degree. If at least one possible vertex contains other than these two vertices, suppose if this contains 3 and these two are contains 2, then it is not a regular graph. Regular means what? Every vertex contains the same degree. In the similar way, if you take here this vertex, what are the adjacent vertices for P? For P, Q and R. So the degree of P is 2. Similarly for R, what are the adjacent vertices? R, S and P. These are the two vertices. And for Q, what are the adjacent vertices? P and S. So the degree here it is equal to 2. Similarly for S, what are the adjacent vertices? Q and R. Therefore the degree is equal to 2. So every vertex contains the same degree. Therefore it is called a regular graph. Generally all the regular graphs, the degree of the regular graph is denoted by what? K. If it contains whatever the vertex, then it is called a K regular graph. In this case, this is called a 2 regular graph, and this case it is also called a 2 regular graph. You may get 3 regular, 4 regular, but check that whether the vertex degree of the vertex will be same or not. That is the definition of a regular graph. Now coming to the next important graph. What is that? It is a complete graph. Graph is said to be a complete graph when a single vertex is connected to with all other vertices. In the previous class we discussed about a connected graph. Connected graph is nothing but what? If between two pairs of vertices there should be a edge, then it is called a connected graph. But coming to the complete graph, what happened? From one vertex, suppose if a graph consists of like this. This is the graph, this is the another graph, this is the let us take, these are the 4 vertices, and this is the graph which is there. This is called what? Actually we call it as a connected graph. Why? Because between two pairs of vertices there is an edge E1, this is the edge, and E2, let us take E3 and E4. This is what? V1, V2, V3, V4. This is called what? A connected graph. It is not a complete graph. But what is the definition of a complete graph? If you go through the complete graph, a single vertex is connected with what? All other vertices. You need to check that whether V1 is connected with V2, V3, V4 or not. V2 is connected with V1, V4, V3 or not. V3 is connected with V4, V1, V2 or not. Similarly, V4 is connected with other 3 like V1, V2 and V3 or not. If they are not connected like that, then it is not a complete graph. If they are connected like that, then it is called a complete graph. That means you can take like this. There is a connection between what? There is a connection between V1 and V2, V1 and V4, but there is no previously connection between what? V1 and V3. Now I have taken a connection like this. There is an edge. Let us define this edge is what? E5. So V1 and V. So V1, V2 connected, V1, V4 connected, V1, V3 is also connected. Now let us check it for V2 also. V2 is connected with V3 and V1, but it is not connected with V4. So we can take it as what? V4. This is the connection. Now similarly V3 is connected with V2, V3 connected with V4 and V1, V4 connected with V2 and C. All the a single vertex of the graph will be connected with all other vertices which are there in the graph. Then it is called a what? A complete graph. That is the definition of a complete graph. Now let us go through this. So a complete graph of n vertices contains exactly nc2 edges. So this is the first property of a complete graph. Just now we have taken that. Otherwise, let us go through the next property. A complete graph of n vertices is represented by, this is what, kn, k suffix n. A complete graph is represented by, in the previous case we discussed about regular graph, k regular graph. So here kn, n indicates what? The number of vertices. Let us take the definition of, let us go through this. What is here given? So again you can take this graph. So suppose just now we discussed about this graph. Here if you observe that A is connected with B and C, C is connected with like this. Every vertex is connected with all other vertices in the given graph, therefore it is a complete graph. Now how many number of vertices are there for this graph? 3. So the number of edges are what? Exactly, a complete graph of n vertices contains what? How many number of edges? nc2 edges. That means you will get how many edges? 3c2, which is equal to again 3. Therefore it is equal to 3. Here how many number of vertices are there? N is equal to 4. Therefore you will get 4c2, which is equal to what? 6 edges. You will get like that. So this is what? So this is called, this complete graph is called K what? K4, and this complete graph is called K3 graph. This is a K3 graph and this is called a K4 graph. This is how we can define the complete graph. Next graph is cycle graph or circular graph. What is a cycle? I think you might get some idea about this cycle graph. Means what? Cycle means what? It is a loop. If it forms a loop, then it is called a cycle graph. Let us try to go through the definition. A simple graph of n vertices. See, remember that it must contain, the condition here it is that n should be greater than or equal to 3. The number of vertices must be greater than or equal to 3, and n edges forming a cycle of length n is called a cycle graph. So let us try to define what is this. Let me give you the, see, in a cycle graph all the vertices are of degree 2. This is very, very important property. So we will discuss that. Now let us come to the case of these three graphs. These three are called the cycle graphs. Why? Because here how many number of vertices are there? See, remember that the first property is, the first condition should be cycle graph should n greater than or equal to 3. Suppose n is equal to 2 are there. What will happen? You will get like this. This is a graph vertex. This is not a cycle. You will not form a cycle with 2 vertices. Therefore, the condition is that the number of vertices must be greater than or equal to 3. Then only you are going to form a cycle or a loop. Therefore, it is called a circular graph or a cycle graph. So take A here. These are with 3 vertices we can form a loop. With 4 vertices here it is formed a cycle, and with 5 vertices it forms a cycle. So these 3 are called what now? A circular graphs or a circular graph or what? A cycle graph. And what is the property given here? That all the vertices of degree 2. In a cycle graph all the vertices of degree are 2. So that means cycle graph is an example of what? It is a regular graph. In regular graph what? Every vertex must be equal to what? 2 of the same degree. It is one of the example of a what? Regular graph. Why? Because what is just now we discussed about what? So already we have discussed about these two. Let us go through with this particular graph. What is the degree of I? It is having adjacent vertices is equal to what? 2. Similarly, you can go through with K. What are the adjacent vertices? I and M. So it is equal to 2. For M it is equal to 2. And for L it is also equal to 2. For J it is also equal to 2. So if you take the degree of each and every vertex which are involved in the given graph, all are is equal to 2. Therefore it is called a circular graph. This is an important property of a cycle graph or a circular graph. Now let us go through the another definition. See, we define what is a cycle graph. Cycle is different from cyclic graph. Cycle or circular graph, and the next one is cyclic graph. A graph containing what? Graph containing at least one cycle. Remember that. This is the condition. That means greater than or equal to one cycle. Then it is called a cyclic graph. We define what is a cycle graph. Suppose if you take this is a graph, you can take like this. This is a cycle graph. So it may contain only one cycle, or it may contain more than one cycle. Suppose if I can take another cycle like this with this, This is a cycle graph. You can take the vertices V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7. Totally how many number of vertices are there? 7 vertices are there. If you go, this is a cycle graph. Why? Because it is a, what happened? Because it forms a cycle with all the vertices. This is called a cycle graph, and you can go through, take the degree. The degree of this is what? These two. The degree of this are these two. What is the degree of this? Degree of this, these two, these two. So here it is. It is not. It is a one cycle. It is a another cycle. But this is not a cycle graph. This is a cyclic graph. Remember that. It is not a cycle graph. Why? Because it is not a cycle graph. Remember that difference between cycle graph and cyclic graph is, in cycle graph there is only one cycle. In cyclic graph there are more than one cycles. This is the main difference between cycle graph and cyclic graph. So here, if you otherwise you just check the degree of each vertex. If the degree of each vertex is equal to 2, then what happened? It is also a cycle graph. But coming to the case of this particular vertex, what is the degree of this particular vertex? So the adjacent vertices are what? This is the one adjacent vertex, another adjacent vertex, this is one, this one. So totally 4 adjacent vertices are there. So therefore we can say that it is not a cycle graph, but it is a cyclic graph because of having 2 different cycles like this. This is the difference between cycle graph and cyclic graph. So that is what I have shown just now. This is called the example of a cyclic graph. So if suppose I have taken a graph like this, whether it is a cyclic graph or not. No, it is not a cyclic graph. Why? Because it does not contain any cycle. So therefore it is not a cyclic graph. In this case we can call it as a acyclic graph. This is called acyclic. Cyclic graph means it contains more than one cycles. Acyclic graph means it does not contain any cycle. If there is only one cycle will be existing, then it is called simply a cycle graph or a circular graph. If there are existing more than one cycles, then we can call it as a cyclic graph. These are the differences between these 3 graphs. And the next one is, this is what acyclic graph. Just now we defined what is an acyclic graph. Now bipartite graph. This is very important graph in graph theory. Now what is bipartite? Bipartite, the definition of bipartite means bi means 2. We try to partitioning it into 2 parts. How we are going to partitioning it into 2 parts? So let us go through the definition. A bipartite graph is a graph where the first point is vertices can be divided into 2 sets x and y. Suppose whenever a graph will be given like this, for example, you have a graph like this. This is a graph, suppose. Let us take. This is a graph. Now how many vertices are given here? 4 vertices are given. V1, V2, V3 and V4. These are the 4 vertices. So the first condition here it is that vertices can be divided into 2 sets x and y. Because of this division, because of this partition, the name of this graph is called bipartite graph. So now what I am trying to do, I am trying to divide the, let us take x is the one set, y is the another set. I am going to take, you can choose any vertices in your set x, and you can choose any vertices, this is like this you can choose. So I have taken a graph like this and I divided the vertices into 2 sets like that I have taken. This is the first condition. Now what is the second condition here? The vertices of set x only join with the vertices of set y. That means each vertex which we have taken in the set S will be joined with vertex in what? Y. So that is what? The second condition. And none of the vertices belonging to the same set join each other. So these are the 3. The first one is you need to divide them into 2 parts. The vertices can be divided into the 2 parts. And second one, whatever the vertices you have taken in the from the first set and what the vertices you have taken in the second set, you need to join them. That is what, from the set A to set B you have to take the edges between the vertices, and none of the vertices belonging to the same set. That means whatever the vertices you have taken in the set A, those vertices should not be contains any edges. This is how we can define what bipartite graph. Now let us discuss this with an example. So now let us take this is the graph, and this is the vertex V1, this is vertex V2, vertex V3 and vertex V4. These are the 4 vertices we have. Now what I am trying to do, according to the first condition, I am going to divide these vertices into like this, V1 and V3. Previously I have shown V2 and V4. Otherwise you can take any vertices, not only like this, you can take V1, V2 here, V3, V4 here, V1, V4 here, V2, V3 here, anyway you can take. This is the first point what we have discussed. Once we have done like this, in the second point what we need to do, you need to join these 2 vertices like this and like this. So like this you have to join these 2 vertices, or you can join the vertices with this, or you can join the vertices like this. Anyway you can join there should be some edge from the vertex of set X to from the set Y. Then that is the second point. And third important point is that you should not connect these 2 vertices. Why? Because they are belonging to the same set. These vertices are belonging to the same set, and these vertices are belonging to the same set. You should not connect these vertices. Then we can call it as what? A bipartite graph. That is the definition of bipartite. Means we are partitioning the given graph into 2 parts. How we are partitioning? By dividing those vertices into 2 sets and joining them with what? Edges. This is what we can call it as a bipartite graph. So these are, see, I have given one example here. What is the bipartite graph? I have taken straight away an example. So this is what? This is the set X I have divided, and this is set Y. And if you observe that some of the edges are, it is not necessary that every vertex should be connected with all the other vertices in the given set Y. There should be some connection for vertex what involved in the set X with vertex involved in the set Y. That is enough. No need of what? There A should not be connected with P, A should not be connected with Q, A should not be connected with what? R. There should be at least one connection for A in the given vertex in the set of what? Y. Then only we can call it as a bipartite graph. You might get a doubt that if suppose every vertex in X will be connected with all the other vertices in Y, then what we can call it as? Then it is called it as a complete bipartite graph. The another definition of this is complete. The difference between bipartite and complete bipartite is, in bipartite graph you need to divide the set like this first and then connect every vertex with the other vertices, whatever the vertex. There should exist only one connection for every vertex in X with the vertices in Y, but it is not necessary that every vertex should not be connected with what? All other vertices which are there in Y. That is the simple definition of a bipartite graph. But if every vertex in X is connected with all other vertices in given Y, then we can call it as a complete bipartite graph. This is the definition of bipartite and complete bipartite graph. So this is, just now I have define what is complete bipartite graph. If you observe that, this is the difference between bipartite and complete bipartite. But try to understand these 2 properties which are very, very important. So what are these 2 properties are? If V1 is equal to M, that means if the vertex, first vertex, whatever you have divided the given graph into 2 parts like this, V1 and V2, and if V1 contains M number of vertices and V2 contains N number of vertices, then the complete bipartite graph is denoted by KMN. Simply, so we have used some notations here, KMN and KN and K. So we discussed about already K. It is for K regular graph, and this is for complete graph, and this is for what? Bipartite graph. So K with how many? In the first set, how many number of vertices are there? 3 vertices are there. In the second set, how many are there? Therefore this is called a K 3, 3 graph. It is called K3,3 graph. Kmn has m plus n vertices and mn edges. So you might get these questions in your GATE examination, and they will give a graph like this, and they will ask the number of vertices. Or see, it might be looking very easy by seeing this graph. This is a very simple graph. You might get a big graph. There they may ask that this graph consists of these many number of vertices. So what are the number of edges of this graph? Then how do you find? By using this formula, because m plus n vertices are there, mn edges are there. Because this contains what? K3,3, simply you can get, it should contain 6 vertices. By seeing like that, it should contain 6 vertices. And what are the number of edges? 9 edges. If you know at least one, either vertices or edges, from that you can find what? Either edges or vertices respectively. This is very, very important. Kmn is a regular graph if m is equal to n. What do you mean by the regular graph? If every vertex has the same degree, then we can call it as a regular graph. That's why Kn comma n. So that is what it is called, a regular graph. So the last graph what we are going to discuss here, it is that planar graph. So planar graph is a simple graph. It is a simple graph which we discussed already. What do you mean by a simple graph? A simple graph means what? It does not contains any loops. And second one, it does not contain any parallel edges. It does not contain any parallel edges. These are the two important conditions for what? Simple graph. Now coming to the planar graph, we can draw a plane. We can draw in a plane such that what? No two edges of it cross each other. So if you observe this particular graph, suppose if I am going in the previous case, we have taken one graph like this. That is what? If you take a complete bipartite graph, so like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, we have taken. Okay, these are the graph. If you observe that this edge is crossing with this edge here. Here, what happened? So the definition is no two edges should not cross each other. This is the basic condition for a planar graph. If they are crossing like that, then it is not a planar graph. If you observe that in this particular graph, there are any edge between two vertices should not cross each other. Therefore, it is called a planar. Otherwise, this is not called a planar. This is not a planar. Because here, what happened? The edges are crossing like this. This is how the edges are crossing. Therefore, it is not a planar graph. So with this, I am concluding my lecture. Thank you very much. In this lecture, what we have discussed only the different types of the graphs which are involved in graph theory. We started with what? A null graph which does not contain any edges, and second one, a trivial graph which contains a single vertex, and then we discussed about simple graph. Next, a bipartite graph, a complete graph, cycle graph, cyclic graph, and the difference between cycle graph and acyclic graph, and finally we discussed about what is a planar graph. So in the next lecture, we are going to discuss about the important topics like Hamiltonian cycle, Eulerian cycle, and then some important algorithms like spanning tree algorithms. With that,